Hi guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Angie and today I'm going to be talking about first impressions and why they matter and how to implement it in your life and how to get the best of all your interactions with anybody you meet, no matter who they are. No, I'm kidding, I don't really talk like that, but for some of you, that's how you're going to remember me for the rest of this video, and that's just how powerful first impressions are. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Angie and today we're going to be talking about first impressions. Real quick, why I decided to make this video is because a while back I read a book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell, and he mentions this interesting concept called thin slicing, which is something we do as humans as a form of self-preservation. And what thin slicing is about is that we're able to make rash decisions in the blink of a second, meaning that if you meet someone for the first time, most likely you'll already form an opinion about them in seconds, and it's very hard to change someone's initial decision made through this method because it's a perception and it's a way of conviction. So basically what I'm trying to say is that first impressions are as important as they are made out to be, and when you only have one shot at something, you want to give it your best, especially if it's with someone who you really care about or who you're really looking forward to making an excellent connection with. So with that said, let's get into it. Eye contact not only helps you connect with the person using nonverbal cues, but it also serves as a way of communicating that you acknowledge that person and that you are trying to approach them. So for example, if you're in a social setting and you're trying to approach someone across the room, the only way to ensure that they have their attention on you and that they perceive you coming towards them and that they acknowledge you and they're prepared mentally to receive you is by maintaining steady eye contact. But something I've not heard being talked about enough is that you shouldn't maintain eye contact like a freak, because nobody likes that. So instead, you want to make steady eye contact that lets the other person know that you are perceiving them and that you see them, but not that you're staring down on them and that you're trying to fall in love with them instantaneously. So how you can do this is that you shoot a few seconds of glances and then you look away and then you look back at them to make them understand that your eyes are on them and them only. So if you continuously do this, by the time you approach them and get across the room or wherever it is that you're meeting them, you'll have already established a message just using your eyes and without looking creepy. So smiling is naturally something that draws people in because it shows that you are approachable, it shows that you're kind, it shows that you are ready to receive this other person and have a conversation with them, and that you're also ready to listen and just give them the time of day. On top of this, smiling can show patience and thoughtfulness on your side, but again, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to come like this because it's borderline, it's giving Joker vibes. Something that you also need to know is that you don't absolutely have to smile like ear to ear. You don't have to have the brightest smile. You just have to warm your face up and to ensure that you are not cold-hearted, because nobody wants to approach someone who looks like this. Now, on top of all that, smiling is also mentally stimulating, and it also prepares people to have conversations, and studies have shown that smiling helps people engage more and remain more connected in a conversation. And this is something that you want, especially if you're talking to someone for the first time and you're very keen and letting them know the kind of person you are and you're looking to form a lasting impression. This is something I have suffered from myself, and it's overthinking about how I will approach someone. Will I give them a handshake? Will I hug them? Will I do the fist bump thing, or will I just say hi verbally? So this is something else that needs you to pick on someone's social cues and non-verbal cues and body language. And what that means is that if you're approaching someone, or if someone's already seated or whatever the situation is, you really want to keep an eye open on what they're doing, how they're behaving. Do they look like they're trying to accommodate you? Are they trying to stand, or are they just relaxing where they are, meaning that they may not be very interested in something like a hug or whatever. So in as much as you're not supposed to overthink it, you also don't want to be ignorant. You want to observe the social cues, and you want to ensure that you're not forcing yourself on the person. So just don't think about it. In fact, don't think about it. Shut out that part of your brain that overanalyzes everything, and just use your vision and use your hearing senses to ensure that you're using the information that you receive to then process and see if this is someone I can approach by hugging them or by just verbalizing my greetings, and that's it. If you stop overthinking and overanalyzing everything in your mind, you'll also be able to observe whether they are overthinking and overanalyzing the situation themselves, so then you can be able to present yourself in a way that can guide them on how to approach you, because sometimes it goes both ways. People are thinking in their own minds, and then they meet and then it's just like, oh, hi, oh. Another tip that is commonly given to people as a way to make an excellent first impression is keeping your body open, keeping your arms open as you speak and whatever. And in as much as I support it, I also think it's important to say that you don't have to be extra and you don't have to be flamboyant, especially if you're more reserved and if you're more of an introvert. However, there is an interesting study that shows that when you're anxious or when you're feeling threatened, just basically when you're not in a comfortable headspace, you do tend to assume a position that protects your vital organs. And this is very interesting because it's just a way of self-preservation as a human, where you find yourself crossing your arms or hugging yourself. Interesting thing is that people can also pick up on it, whether they are aware of this fact as it is or not. When you see someone closed off, you're less likely to approach them, or even if you approach them, you're less likely to engage them for extended periods. So what you can do to make yourself seem more approachable without necessarily seeming flamboyant and extravagant and trying to push yourself way beyond the comfort zone is just by opening up your internal organs and just speaking as it is. If you do feel the need to put a little bit of hand gesture here, hand gesture there, that's very okay, but by all means don't overdo it and don't push yourself to be someone who you're not, because at the end of the day, all this is not for everybody. Last but not least, this is my favorite tip of all, and it's bouncing off or repeating the last few words that someone says to you. So this means when someone talks to you, you kind of write off the last part of their sentence and start it as your own, or just repeat it in agreement. My best friend is really good at doing this. Every time we speak on the phone or whatever, even when we're having a conversation in person, she's always bouncing off and repeating the last few words of everything I say, and it's very validating to someone. It shows that you're listening to them and you're actually hearing what they have to say, which is something most people appreciate. So we come to the end of the video, guys. I hope these tips have been helpful to you. I hope you've been able to understand a little bit more about why you apply the tips you apply and not just applying them haphazardly. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.